Hello, Bingies. Welcome to the BingeWorthy. Welcome to the BingeWorthy show, part of the Geekish Network. We binge a show to let you know if you should. I'm your host, Rakai Steed, new from the Ville. Hello, Governor. And with me today, I have my esteemed guest. Well, I just can't talk today. This show got me all. Listen, no, it's just because we've been building up to talk about this show, and I'm so ready to go. I don't even want to do all this intro stuff. I'm ready. So, but first, let me introduce my esteemed guests. I'm going to start with the lovely Miss Courtney Scott Wright. Say hello to the people.
How y'all doing? I don't even have anything special tonight because I got lots of feelings. So.
Oh yes, come. Listen, I felt like Delta Slim right there. I was like, oh, let's get ready. Okay. Next we have Mr. Johnny Randolph. Say hello to the people, Randy.
Yo, what it do, Benjies?
All right, and with us, the OG, Triple OG, one of the founders of the Geekish Network, Mr. Charles Babb. Say hello to the people, Chuck.
What's up, everyone?
All right, and just so you know, we may have another one of our co-hosts pop in a little bit later, Centel with the Intel. So when he does, if he does, we'll just add him right on to the conversation, but we're going to get started. So today, we are talking about Disney Plus's Ironheart. Now, remember, if you're an audience member, feel free to communicate with us. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we're on Facebook, we're on all those good things. So make sure that you add your comments to the chat so that we can look it up and maybe respond to you in real time. This series shares continuity with the films in the franchise. So namely your Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and some of the other things that might be coming. It sees a MIT student and Riri Williams return home to Chicago following the events of the film Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, where she discovers secrets that pit technology against magic. Now, Rodney will post our cast members' ratings for Disney's Plus's Ironheart. And while he posts the ratings, I want to let you know that we rate the show at the beginning of the show, and then we rate it again at the end, just to see if anyone's had a change of heart from our discussion. So, Mr. Rodney, can you please let us know what did everyone rate the show? How do we look? All right, we have.
That's not what I rated it, Rodney.
He said, "How dare you, sir? How dare you?"
And no, yeah, that's I rated it that, but
I absolutely did. I was like,
and I reserve the right to go down.
What'd you rate it, Randy?
I rated it a snack.
That's what I wanted to say, but I felt bad putting it as a snack.
No, I wanted to rate it a cringe-worthy. I felt bad putting it as a cringe-worthy, so I put it as a snack.
Okay, well, you know what? On the strength of that, Mr. Randolph, let's start with you. Let's talk about how you rated the show.
I rated this show a snack, and we got a story. It's just not didn't reconcile with the hero's journey that I thought we were going to get based when we last saw Riri in Wakanda Forever. I thought this story was just mired in trauma and have an overdose of too many bad tropes. I actually feel sorry for the actress and this cast. I feel like Marvel is out here playing in our faces and they don't have a lot of respect for black characters or know what to do with them. And this was just another episode of that. I was very disappointed in what I saw. This is not what I had signed up for or thought that we were going to get. I was very disappointed.
Okay.
So that's why I gave this a snack.
Okay. Okay. Miss Courtney Scott Wright, you want to discuss your rating, ma'am?
I can't disagree with anything Randy said. For me, it was the reason I didn't go snack because, you know, first of all, as a black artist, a filmmaker, an actor, a writer, I never want to be the person that like let me start again. I always want to see stories about us, and I want to promote and help stories about us make it to the screen. It's just I question what this story, how it served us. Do you know what I mean? Because I felt like I didn't want to give it a snack. I was right up there with Randy, but I felt like this struggled with poor choices and tropes. Like here you have a brilliant genius at MIT, and there are so many other options and of choices to be made, but yet you keep it small and insular. Like Tony Stark created the Iron Man suit because he wanted to put a shield around the world, and you made it seem like Riri Williams just wanted to put a shield around herself and like the nuclear family. That's it. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that that's not important, especially, the black community family is very important. But here you have someone capable of so much more, someone who was wanted by Namor and like a whole other like entity, and Wakanda showed up to protect her because she created something that could detect vibranium, and you just left her in the wind in MIT to like sell to random students at random schools because she didn't have money. Like you made money her main dilemma, and it just seems so low budget and a little bit insulting to the incredible work that these actors did, because the acting was there, the team was there. You know what I mean? The look, the shots, like it was all there. And I was challenged by the choices that did not seem to serve the black community. This didn't need to be something about crime. And I'll stop there.
Okay. And Mr. Bab, you want to discuss your rating, sir?
Yeah, I discuss it. My rating comes from the reason I gave it a mini meals because I thought the actors showed up and the DP showed up, the editors showed up. I think everybody showed up except the writing room. I think the writing room did not show up at all, and I think it was marred by production choices. The producers control that writing room, and it felt like they controlled the writing room, and not the producers that are on this property, but the producers over at Marvel, because it suffers from the same thing most Marvel properties suffer from when there are black characters on the screen. It falls into tropes. I believe that Marvel doesn't respect us as a race of people to look at us beyond just the tropes that we represent in entertainment. I mean, this is filled with litany of tropes. Not like Randy said, I do agree with him. This does not pick up where Wakanda Forever left off. This is a woman that made a device that could track vibranium, which caused the first mutant to come out of the ocean to go to war with Wakanda. And where this story landed, doesn't merit this. They made a very, very small story. They made the villains feel small. And what else did they do that I did not like about this? There was no character growth. The character ended up in the same place she started.
Exactly.
if
The
not worse.
exact
If not
same
worse.
place
And
she started.
it didn't make sense. The
Yeah.
ending ruined it for me. It really did. Because sorry to cut you off, Chuck.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Yeah. And
It's got strong feelings.
I
yeah.
think we all do.
I think that's where this ended for me. It was like it suffered from this. It suffered like, wow, I spent 6 hours hoping there would be some growth of a character who traded everything in for money, is done trading everything in to have her best friend back after she wanted her best friend to go away and give her peace after she passed away. And I thought that was a weird choice, and I think this is all weird choice. I think the only person that made the solid choice to me in this whole entire series is the Hood. I think he's the only person that made the solid choices to me. I think he was kind of sensible considering what he's been through.
So Ezekiel Stain.
Mhm.
I think Ezekiel Stain also, Chuck, had an arc.
He did have an arc. He did have an arc, but I'm talking about sensible choices. Ezekiel didn't make a sensible choice once he left prison. That was like, that sounds silly. That's stupid of you. You're gonna go with this mixed ragtag group of criminals for what? To get back at Riri? You knew she's gonna come and get you. She
Hold
had a
on,
super
we
sister,
hold on, we're getting too far ahead. Hold on,
you
hold
know.
on,
Yeah,
hold on. I know that Centel's in the waiting room, so he's getting ready
he's
to come
here.
in.
Oh, I'm here. I'm
He's
here.
here. He's
Okay.
here.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yes,
hear
sir.
you.
Okay. I've been having all kinds of issues. I apologize. It's just been a fight today, but I'm here. I'm here.
All right, so we are
Ask
discussing
him.
our
Mhm.
we're discussing our
We didn't get his rating.
our ratings. So Centel, did you send your rating in? What's your rating?
I gave it a mini meal.
Okay, well then we in there like swimwear. We across the board, except for Randy.
Randy.
Randy gave it a snack.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna go real quick, and I'm gonna let you have the stage, Centel. I'm gonna try to do this really quickly. I agree with everything all three of you just said, but I gave it a mini meal for a different reason. I think, or it may be the same reason that you all gave it a mini meal for real. I thought this was incredibly mid, and I agree. The writing room failed this project. You cannot sell me a project and tell me, from the mind of Ryan Coogler. Don't do that to me, and then I don't see his fingerprints anywhere on this. I don't. Where
They didn't
was he?
say
Was he
from the
getting
mind of Ryan
coffee?
Coogler.
But
They
I'm
said
just saying,
executive produced.
yeah. I mean, I get it, and what I'm saying, it's just a name, and it's carrying some weight right now. I get it. I don't like it. I did not like the first three episodes at all. They were hard. I loved episode 4. Episode 5 and 6 were okay. I thought it balanced itself back out to mid. I think the execution, and we'll get into that later about, how things ended up, on how I felt about that versus how y'all felt about it. But I think that episodes 1 through 3, the episodes 4, 5, 6, balanced itself out to mid for me. So, Centel, you want to talk about your rating, sir?
Yeah. I gave it a mini meal. I think it's just middle of the road. In our world, we don't give sevens. It's probably overall more 6 and 8. But I enjoyed it more than the mini meal shows. I enjoyed episodes 1 through 3. I like the world that it built. I liked some of the interesting parallels that they had with Tony building his suit from nothing and Riri building her suit from nothing. I really, really enjoyed the parallels of how to deal with grief, what to do with that when the thing that you're grieving is objectively in front of you. How does that affect family, and how do you move forward? I really enjoyed that conversation. The thing that I just did not like that really made it mini meal, it probably would have been more of a full meal if it wasn't the ending, which is awful. I'm like you. The choice that was made in order to get the big reveal, I just didn't understand that at all. So that was very disappointing. Loved Natalie. Natalie was awesome. She was, to me, was the highlight of the entire show. And she unfortunately acted circles around the actress playing Riri.
Dominic Thorne.
Yeah.
Lyric Ross. Lyric Ross did a great job.
I think she did a decent job, but I think she probably was more victim to the writing than it was necessarily her own ability. Because when she did try to bring something, I felt pieces of it trying to come, but I just think that the writers failed her more than anything else. But I did enjoy the show. I legitimately had a good time with Ironheart.
Okay, well, so our first question, unless you guys want to get into the plot, I want us just to spend a few minutes talking about the world building here. You know, coming off the heels of Wakanda Forever, you give Riri Williams, who's been a staple in the comic books for quite a while now. You give her own show. Let's talk about the world building in this particular show, and it's been mentioned the character development, whichever character you want to talk about. Anybody want to jump in there?
It just didn't make no sense. It just didn't make any sense. We left her in Wakanda being mentored by the goddamn queen, the heir to the queen of Wakanda. She's Siri's mentee. And they even try to explain that in episode 4, like Siri would have hung up if all these decisions, when she knew these decisions she was making. So why did they give us this in this? And it was just mired in tropes. I started counting on like episode 4, and it was like 18. It was like 3 tropes per episode. Okay, we got the Kool-Aid man kicking in the dough. You ain't got no suit because you ain't got no man. Oh, you a jive, the jive turkey. You got to get inflation. Oh, the witch got to drop out of school because she got pregnant and can't take care of her baby. Like, these are tropes that they were giving us throughout this episode. Why? Why did we get them? Why do we get any of this story? It makes no sense.
Oh my God!
I didn't even think about the teenage pregnancy. Oh my God!
She wasn't a teenager.
Right.
She was a grown woman.
She had to drop out of college because
right, but like it still had an unwed mother.
They even gave us a daddy who was wealthy.
A wizard school.
A wizard school that would have
she dropped out of Hogwarts. Yeah.
Right. They even gave us a daddy with money that didn't want to take care of his own kids. Who?
Black daddy with money.
Right. No dad. What wealthy
his
black
kid
dad
out of
you
12.
know who's got resources to be like, you know what? I ain't even want you.
Who?
I ain't even want you.
Howard Stark would never.
They gave us every trope. They even had Riri selling the tech like it was a drug deal.
Like it was a drug.
Hand-to-hand drug deal. Me and Courtney had to talk about that.
We did. We sure did.
I called
That's
him like
exactly what we
hand-to-hand
said.
drug. I was so angry.
What was this story? What was the point of this story? I'm done.
The writers were watching The Wire before they started writing.
No, because the Wire painted people as humans.
The Wire was actually good.
The Wire painted people as humans.
I mean, I can't comment on The Wire. I still haven't seen The Wire, but I agree. All of the tropes were they just didn't make sense given the fact that you have established her as a genius. And I understand that a genius level intellect does not guarantee you common sense. I understand that. But at the same time, Riri has already displayed common sense in Wakanda Forever. So I guess she's smarter than trying to sell to low budget students at schools and within her school or somebody else's school. She could have sold that to like Stark Industries, Pimtech. Like, you can't, I just can't understand. I don't believe that she couldn't get anybody on the phone to say, hey, I got this tech. I don't believe that she could not have contacted somebody, Happy, Pepper Potts, somebody to be like, yo, let's talk. I don't, and I understand the pushback I'm about to get that, maybe she doesn't have or doesn't feel like she can contact these people given the the differences and who she is. I don't know. I would have tried. I'd at least rather get a no. But there's just things that I don't understand that don't make sense to me that you would do this and put us in this situation. It's like they felt like, okay, there are a lot of shows with the Black community in an urban setting and dealing with crime and things, and that's what's popular. People want to see like the Marvel's answer to power. People want to see like, you know what I'm saying? And that's not what I showed up for. If power is power. I mean, if power showed up with like Black Lightning powers, then you know what I'm saying? Okay, I'd watch that. But
No,
that's not what this is.
The show would have been better if 50 Cent showed up. Hell.
Oh no, not that power. No, what
Oh
no,
yeah,
what angers me most about this is they made it seem like this little girl lost her mind because she lost her best friend after she just witnessed a whole entire kingdom, the most powerful kingdom on planet Earth, willing to sacrifice themselves for her. The Queen of Wakanda died for her. Like Namor came and said, "Give me that girl right behind y'all," and they said no. So hundreds of Wakandians died. But the only thing she cared about was her best friend who got shot in the drive-by and the parking garage and at a garage years prior to that. And she was
that's
able
an
to recover
excellent
from that.
point.
And so my issue is like, how much grief can this girl handle? And why didn't she feel like she couldn't go back to Shuri? Shuri's mother died for her. Shuri's the queen now. Shuri kept you in Wakanda after all this happened to teach you. It just the whole entire thing felt weird, and I felt as though that the people that Marvel's producers or Disney's producers, one of those producer sets, walked in the writing room and said, "This is the story you're going to tell. We're going to approve every script that comes out of here." And so
Why did
they
she go
made people.
back?
I
They
don't get
made
it
people.
neither. Why'd she go back?
Why did she go back to
It
MIT?
doesn't make sense. It doesn't make
She
sense.
could have had her own company at that point, like a startup.
Yes.
Like Shuri would have helped her start it up.
And why
Yes.
wasn't like Siri the first person she called when she
She
left
built
MIT?
the suit out of vibranium. Her suit was made out of vibranium.
No, Shuri kept that suit.
I know it, but she made one.
Yeah, and this thing
So
is
why
like,
would you leave that?
the whole thing is to set up the contrast between her and Tony Stark. Tony Stark had billions. She didn't have anything, but she had a contact in Wakanda. All
had
she
something
needed to
better
do
than
was
billions
make
of
a
dollars.
call.
And let me tell you something. Any genius that I know would know that there's no way she could never make enough money on the streets to cover for a billionaire that makes money off selling arms in the world.
With the whole backing of Stark Enterprises.
the sells arms in the whole entire world. Stark's Enterprises sells weaponry. They've been selling weaponry for over 50 years. There's nothing she could ever do to catch up to that. Every black person knows there's nothing that we could ever do to catch up with Jeff Bezos. There's not one of us on planet Earth that says, you know what? I'm going to sell these drugs in the streets and catch up to Jeff Bezos. Not one black person ever would ever say that. Or even
I don't think
that.
she was trying to catch him. I think, and
She wanted to
to your
build a
point-
suit like him. In order to build a
Well-
suit like him, you had to be him.
well, and I misspoke. She didn't put a shield. She wanted to put, Tony Stark wanted to build a suit of armor around the world. And I think that she didn't even have that design. Like, the problem with me, she didn't have a plan. Everybody kept asking her, why are you doing this? Because I could. You know, like, that's something that her stepfather kept saying to her. But the reason she did it is because when her best friend was asked that question, she said she'd built something with a rocket booster and like fly off to space or whatever. Something that Natalie said. And that was why she was doing it. So at some point in one of those 6 episodes, I needed her to stop saying because I could and to give the actual answer. And if she did that, then she could have acknowledged, I do have a plan.
So
But
in
she
the
never did.
dean's office,
let
in the
me
dean's
jump in here.
office-
Let me jump in here real quick.
Go ahead.
She did say something to the tune in one of those episodes real quickly, because most of the time she did just say, because I can. She did say something to the tune of when she got a little introspective and talked about Gary and Natalie, she said building about something to protect them and to use the suits for, 911 and you know what I'm saying, like,
First
in the neighborhood, like, because remember her problem was by the time the ambulance got there, they got there like 1 minute too late or whatever. And that's what that was one of the things that she said was her impetus on building it. But then she followed up that with a lot of brooding and because I can.
She's turning to Ryan Gosling.
I understand everything y'all saying, and I don't really disagree with it. I just think that one of the main problems with the show is comparing Riri to Tony Stark in the first place.
Yes.
They ain't
Yes.
the same.
We shouldn't
They
have
not
compared them.
even the same.
No.
And the fact that we keep trying to shoehorn Riri in to be the new Tony Stark is not even at all. That's like saying, the thing is, and I gave this example to Trey the other night. If you're trying to say, okay, I'm going to take Miles Morales and stick him in, and he's the new Spider-Man, that may work a little bit because on a certain level they were kind of the same. You're kind of feeling the same, different neighborhoods, different people, but kind of the same mission at first. But the new our new Tom Holland Spider-Man, he got the easy glasses. He been getting his tech from Tony Stark. He'd have been to space and fought Thanos. You not replacing one dude with the other dude. That they not the same. Not at all. I think really that even though Riri is a genius, me personally, I think she was small-minded. I think the whole show, she was small-minded, and it's hard to think on a different type of level. I mean, Tony Stark was raised by Howard Stark, and he was raised in the lap of Shield and all this other stuff. No matter how much it took, that's not Riri. She was
That's
raised
not
in a
true.
garage.
That's
I
not
don't
true.
know if that's
Because in
true.
Wakanda Forever, she's making that machine to change the whole entire world. She was thinking big. The Wakanda Forever, she was like, I'm here to change the world. I'm bigger than Tony Stark.
I'm not arguing that.
said
I'm not
that.
saying that she didn't have great ideas, and when she got around some people with some resources that they can put the stuff into motion.
She
I'm
was like, she
not.
didn't
I'm
need
not.
the resources. They asked her, did you
That
know
was
that
never a
machine?
thing in the movie
In the
when we
movie,
last
she was like,
left
did
her.
you know why you made that machine? She's like, yes, so I can heal the earth.
I think that's one of the
And I can do it.
one of the greatest reasons why this show is so difficult to swallow is because we didn't get any shades of this kind of trauma or anything from her in the movie when you
No,
introduced her
no,
in the first place. Because in the movie, she's already at school at MIT. Like,
she is crushing it.
Killing it.
Crushing it.
Well,
They
yeah, it's
happy just
just
to have her
it don't.
there.
can I just comment on one thing that Rikai, that you said? Well, she didn't have anybody, like, he had Howard Stark. I mean, I don't want to discount her parents, because like Gary, who was an engineer, who just stayed home and built his own business, but that's not to say that he wasn't necessarily there for her. And then also that her mom wasn't someone who was always fighting for her and encouraging her.
Mhm.
Maybe they didn't have the level of like billion-dollar like company like Howard Stark had, but I don't think we should necessarily discount the amount of encouragement that she got.
No, and
Or
that's not what I was trying to say. I know, I understand.
okay.
You're right. I wasn't trying to say that. Her mom seemed 100% and completely encouraging. Gary seemed great. Xavier and Natalie seemed wonderful and always in the corner. It really, the community seemed always, they bigged up they resident genius. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that someone like Tony, who until he got kidnapped and stuck in a damn cave, and where he started to appreciate what he had and how smart he was and what he was able to do with his father's company. I'm saying that the difference is the environment that you raised in. Riri had her village and the people that support her. But if I'm trying to go to the NBA and I've got some height, I've got talent, and then LeBron James' son is trying to go to the NBA and he's got some height and got talent. All I'm saying is, if you look at the difference in the environment and you go through, I'm at the local park every day putting up shots and getting it in because I'm determined. LeBron James' son is at the gym in his own house putting up shots every day. He don't got to worry about the weather. He don't go worry about, drive by. He don't go, oh, as a matter of fact, hold on. Steph Curry just dropped by. He going to come put up some shots with you. That's the type of shit I'm talking about. That's the difference between Riri and Tony Stark. The environment that they're raised in to help foster what they already have innately is vastly different. And I think that's how Tony Stark is like, I want to put a thing around the whole world or whatever. And then all the stuff and the people he's involved with. Riri didn't have one wild ass adventure over a couple weeks, and then she, I don't know how long her internship or how long she was with Shuri in Wakanda. That makes a difference, and it's hard to just say, okay, she's smart, she's with Shuri, she should just be this.
No, I'm not saying that.
If anything, we get to the end of the show, and I have a small thing that I just personally think that shows that that's never what type of time she was on anyway. But
when did we
that's
get
just
this whole
small.
internship thing? That was never that's just kind of made up language.
Well, I think
that
that's
they
what
put
she-
up.
Yeah.
I think that's what she did.
Called it.
Intern.
That's called they called it because they sent her back home.
She goes,
it was
"Yeah,
never. I never left with the
intern."
impression that it was just some internship.
was an
I want to say that I heard her actually say that in the show, but I
That's
don't
what she
know.
said because
But
the
she
writers
said it
put
as,
it
like,
in the
tongue-in-cheek.
show.
She said
Yeah,
it tongue in cheek.
Right.
I think
Like-
it was to explain her absence from
Yes.
school
So
as
she
to
was like,
why
intern.
Shuri it took her from
Okay.
MIT,
Okay.
and they couldn't
Okay.
just say like, "Oh, I left school
Okay.
You
for
could say
to
she was
save
in
the world."
Wakanda. She
Okay.
could say
You know what I
she was in Wakanda.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that.
But
Fighting this dude from the ocean.
but we
And Troy
noticed
trying to jump in here. I
every-
know he been
Yeah,
quiet all
every
Troy.
day.
Marvel property, when people ran into the superheroes, they never went back to their old life.
Ant-Man did. I mean,
He never
In a
really
way.
got picked up. He never really got picked up. He was out doing his own thing, and he's a pimp. He's a pimp too. He has his own tech company doing his own things. But nobody went back. Nobody her age went back. And it's sort of weird because she was like, I did everything I did when she was in the movie. I did everything I did because I could, and I didn't need all the Tony Stark's money. I'm smart
Peter
enough to
Parker
do it
went
without the
back.
money. She's
Peter
like, I'm
Parker
smart.
went back.
What's up?
No Way Home was the same problem
he
that
went
I
home.
had.
He went back for a
I had problems
girl.
with the same reason. But sorry, Centel.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with what all y'all are saying, but I feel like in this conversation and what I've been seeing on socials as well is people are having a hard time seeing the forest for the trees. And the trees are the big thing with being falling into tropes and all of that. And I do agree. I think that is a very important thing to bring up. But the whole being mad over a crook, Ant-Man was a crook. Tony Stark was an arms dealer. Plastic Man's a crook. Black Widow was an evil
Assassin.
spy. Luke Cage did some shady stuff working in Harlem. Gambit, this isn't new. We're acting like this is some brand new thing because Riri did it. This isn't.
It was her origin story, but that was not her origin story.
That
What you're
wasn't
saying is
from the
everybody's
comics.
origin story. She went into that story. She chose that story. This is not an origin story for her. Now, Parker Robbins, on the other hand.
Was he done?
Go ahead.
No.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't think he was done.
Thank you. This is a young person making childish mistakes, and it is the beginning of an arc. So I thought, which I think one of the reasons why I kind of fell off is that if this is how we're going to start with the beginning of our arc, then I need to see that 180. I need to see that change. We didn't really get that. Instead, it just veered more into something different. So I'm willing to give the character grace if it's the beginning of an arc and they're willing to change. I don't think we should stick our flag into her selling exam papers and that defining the character from here on out. We don't do that with any of these other characters. So why would we do that with Riri? The crux of the story and what nobody wants to really talk about is that this is a story that talks about grief and the grieving process. What do you do with that? How do you move forward when all is lost? Most of these characters are dealing with that. Even the bad guys are even dealing with that. Being stuck in the moment, being trying not to live into your being stuck in your father's shadow, even though they're gone, and trying to be your own man, losing your brother, losing a husband, losing a father, losing a best friend. How do you keep from being stuck in the moment? That is, to me, what the crux and the heart of what this show is about. But I personally feel that we're stuck on the wrapping paper of what Riri is. And that's all it is. It's something that you look at for a moment, you ball it up and you throw it away so that you can get to the real heart of what this story is about. Now, I agree with what all of you are saying, and those are things that are very important, but that by no means is what this series, for me personally, is even remotely about.
Respectfully, I understand that. I think that's bullshit too, because I'm tired of them giving black people grief all the fucking time.
Well,
Black people are tired of being the holders of grief and trauma. Everybody in Marvel's universe had grief. Everybody lost somebody. And they stuck with this girl who by the end of the 6th episode did not change. She got worse. She sold her
I agree
soul.
with that. She did get worse.
She
Yeah, I
sold
agree
her
with that.
soul.
And that's why I have a problem with that. I agree with that.
And
with
that's
you
what
on
you niggas do. Excuse my French.
can I jump in? Well, what I was gonna say, kind of to piggyback. Yep. Kind of to piggyback off of what Centel was saying, I do think that is an excellent point that you brought up about it being about grief, and I acknowledge that was kind of overshadowed by the action part of the story of what was happening. But I do think that it is something that, especially in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then in Captain America Brave New World, there it is, that has become something that trauma within our community is something that they feel like we do need to like battle. And in terms of like the grief, the way the grief was handled in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Bucky's story and his journey through his grief was told in such a way that was so relatable, whereas hers, the journey can continue to be her like pushing it under the table. Like I don't want to look at it, I don't want to think about it. Even, you know, when Natalie brought her to the garage, when her mom brought her to the garage, like this is where we're gonna work, and ultimately her even like kind of acknowledging how much she appreciated having the AI take the form of Natalie. And then the ending, which you literally said, don't do this. You don't see what he's doing to you. Like, this isn't you, Parker. But then when you're presented with the same choice, you're like, I mean, okay. Like, what? Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like the journey of grief was lost. And to your point, like she never completed her journey. She never completed the arc and the understanding of what she was fighting for, where her grief, and grief is not a journey you can just like undo and like, I'm better. Like you can't, but you can see the beginnings of a path forward. She never got to that path. And then she torpedoed her own story. So that, I think that was a huge error.
I felt like Orlando Jones.
Yes.
From Preacher.
I hear you. I definitely hear you.
Where Orlando Jones says something in Preacher that stuck out to me, and it always sticks out to me. When a white person does something bad, it's a good person making a bad choice. And when a black person does something good, it's just a matter of time for that nigga to show his head. Show the serpent in his head. And I think that's what they did with her. They made it seem like she kept making bad choices. And then the final choice she made a really bad choice.
And she didn't make one good choice for the whole series. And I'm done, Ricardo. Go ahead. Like, what did she do? What good choice did she make throughout this whole series?
And I think that's, since we're on grief, and I absolutely 100% agree with the themes of grief and how so many people in this show were dealing with their own form of trauma and grief, even though, yes, that is all too often a trope in shows about Black characters. I think it was said perfectly by the only white character in the show, Joe McGillicuddy.
What a damn name. That name. Oh my God.
I use that name all the time as a joke. So Mr. McGillicuddy, Mr. Stain, said, I have millions of dollars of tech within my body, and I have all this anger, and I don't know what to do with it. Because Riri asked him, are we good? And he said, no, I don't know how I feel right now. This moment, you got to pass, but I may show up again and bust your ass. Like
I respected that too.
And I was like, that right there is one of the realest shit said in this show. Yeah, it was one of the most honest. It was the honest moment.
He was my favorite character. Him and Natalie.
I,
He and Natalie were the two
I
characters
don't. I don't think they gave him enough to do. So it was Natalie for me, 100%. You know, because he was like damn near like Xavier, her friend. Like I ain't got enough to do, so I come in and say something half-ass smart every 17, you know, 17 hours into the show. Here, since we're talking about recurring themes and motives, here's my hot take. Because I don't know if this is what they're doing. This is just what I got from it. When we were watching it, Centel said something about, oh, she about to turn into Anakin.
Yep. I can see that.
And I felt that 100%. And as a matter of fact, if they leaned into that, I would love it. I don't know if that was an intent. And I think, who the hell said that she's supposed to be a hero? Who said she's supposed to be a hero? The problem is the reason
Comic
why.
books.
Well, yeah, and you're right. I've read her comics. The MCU is doing always doing some different shit. Here's the problem. We love Darth Vader, love him, because we're introduced to him as a villain, and then we go back, we peel back the layers and see, oh, this is when he was a good guy, and he turned to the dark side because X, Y, and Z. These things happen, and and that's what forced his turn. And we're like, ah, damn, okay, so that's when it happened. But what if they gave us a show where we saw, X, Y, and Z, and we are under the assumption she's supposed to be a hero, and we at the end, you're like, nah, I ain't really, this hero shit. One of the dudes said something, I think I don't know who it was. Somebody in the show said something to her about, you never do anything. Maybe it was Stain when he got mad at her. Everything you do is self-serving. You're manipulative. You do all these things. It's just for you. And through episode 1 through 6, we saw that. If somebody shows you who they are, believe them. I think we're the ones that got fooled because we kept, wait, when's she going to turn into the Falcon? When is she going to be, she's a black hero. Representation matters. She's one of us. She's got to be a good guy. We don't get many, good guys on the screen. So no, she got to be Shuri. She got to be T'Challa. Hell, we damn near half-ass agreed with Killmonger for a little while. He showed up because we understood his why. You might not agree with it, but we understood his why. I don't understand nothing about what Riri's doing. I don't understand a damn thing about what she's doing, her why. I get it. You upset. Shit. You took all this money to build your suit. You build your ass a therapist. That's the hell you need to do.
But she did have this is a villain's origin story. This is Dr. Octavius's origin story.
And that's what I said. One of the things that I liked about this show was this show completely opened us up to the real possibility of now we can get some understanding behind this is how Doctor Doom's gonna work. We've seen magic in Doctor Strange. We've seen tech in Iron Man. We put them both together in this show, so when Doctor Doom show up and you see magic in the tech, it makes sense because you've already been introduced to it.
But then what made them make this then? It's called Ironheart. So we're saying,
I mean, that's her character's name.
Then why were we led to believe that she was going to be a hero? Are they really trying to tell us this was intentional? This makes me think of Mahershala when he got the Blade script and he looked at it and was like, what the hell is this? I'm not doing this. They just threw something together. And this what makes me think what happened in that same writer's room. It was like, I'm supposed to be Ironheart, the successor to Iron Man, and y'all literally are making me a villain. Here's my own show.
Here's the problem,
named
Randy.
After me.
Here's the problem, Randy, and here's what keeps happening to us as the audience. We keep being let down. I don't know what these writers are thinking. They go into these writer rooms and like, oh, okay, we're going to give her this arc, and maybe she's going to get redemption. She's going to learn. She's going to grow. But that's going to happen in season 4. Who the hell told you you're getting another season? Who told you that? If anything, you should read the tea leaves, read the room. You got 6 episodes maybe to make it happen.
I don't think it gets that far. I think they did the first draft. They did the first draft of the show, and they sent it to the producers, and the managing producers are like, "Nah, we don't like this. Change this."
Right. Somebody put in the chat, it should be Broken Heart. I'm with you.
Yeah. Nah, we should change this. I don't think they even thinking of getting 4 seasons. I think the writers don't care to get 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Once you springboard off a Marvel show, you can almost pick anywhere you want to go in Hollywood.
But here's the thing.
I think that's how they look at it.
You said this earlier, Chuck. Why? You said it all the time. Why did they make this show? I'm still waiting on resolution from Moon Knight. I'm still waiting on them to do something with Miss Marvel. Boy, don't talk to me about that show. This show
they do not respect.
Don't talk to that.
They don't
I don't want to hear nothing about no.
Catherine is in the chat. She said should be Broken Heart.
Yeah, Broken Heart. Oh, is that Captain? Okay. I thought she was Dragonborn. Oh, okay. She changed it up. All right.
There's a lot of people are have some good comments. Dominica said Clint Barton was a government assassin before he joined the Avengers. He decided to go on a prolonged killing spree, but is still considered a hero.
And nobody batted an eye. That's what I said. That's the thing I was just saying. I think because Riri is who she is, then all of a sudden, see, this is what we were saying. Me and Chuck have had this conversation. I hope and pray we can get to a space where Black creators can experiment, do things, be weird, do stuff that's out of sync, and it not have this flashlight that gets shown and be like, I can't believe you're doing this. I feel like that's what's happening with this. She hasn't done anything any different than I named off like 6 other heroes, but none of those other heroes got the same type of spotlight and ire and disdain that I have seen in these social streets that Riri's gotten. And that to me, and we all know the reason why, the overall reaching reason why.
Well, I think we just wanted more.
I wanted better.
I did too. I thought I was getting better.
Wanted better. Cause you gave me better in Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It just didn't reconcile to me with where we left her, and that's where I had the big problem.
You gave me Crystal in Wakanda Forever with this girl.
You think Wakanda Forever is Crystal?
The way they treated her. The way they treated her.
Don't do that.
The way they treated her.
What we ain't gonna do is have.
No. Listen to me. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. You ain't let me finish. Let me finish. Crystal, as in this character's introduction, like the whole entire kingdom of Wakanda was going to die for this character.
Yeah, that's the way
they're going to all die for this character.
You tripping, dude?
There's going to be a bunch. There's going to be a bunch of Hispanics and a bunch of Black people fighting in the streets for this one character, for this one character to survive. You understand? Namor came there just to kill her.
Right. That was
He said, hey, I'm not going to mess with you guys. Just give me her. And Angela Bassett stepped there in the queen and says, no, we're not going to give you her. You're going to have to kill us all. And they went to war over it. So that was her introduction. Now, this show came out before Wakanda Forever.
Right.
Then we may have
I could have had a different But where they left us last, that's not what we had.
Wakanda Forever. Right. This is after. So you trying to tell me you went backwards? They went backwards for us? Because you know what? Black people are backwards. So let's go backwards.
Wow.
Bro, you reaching. You reaching.
Is it reaching?
Well, here's the thing.
They did it to Captain America.
But wait,
they did it to Captain America. They did it. It was Nick Fury. Nick Fury was in 20-something movies. And they turned around and moved him backwards in Secret Invasion. They move our characters backwards.
It ain't just a Black thing. It's just Marvel. It's a Marvel thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm one of the first people to throw this fist up with you, because you know
who else did they move backwards like that?
The whole franchise is awful.
But it's what's happening.
It ain't just Black projects. It's Marvel is awful.
What characters? I'm talking about shows. What characters? Individual characters.
If you think about it, what they did with Riri Williams in Wakanda Forever, this is where we introduce her. This is the journey she goes on. And then they give us Ironheart, right? So Black Widow, we've been watching Black Widow through all these Avengers movies. She was introduced in Iron Man. She did all these Avengers movies. She did Captain America, Winter Soldier. We don't give her own movie first. Who do we give it to? Captain Marvel. Why? Because who's connected to her? No one cares. No, we give her a bootleg movie after she's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And so So it's not just Riri Williams, but I'm just saying,
But
like,
even
it happens to be a lot of female.
But we
even
we
in
didn't
her
give her a
bootleg
movie
movie, she
that
was not
different from her
backwards in who she
character.
was
Right.
when she
It wasn't.
died.
She was an
I said,
assassin
move the
throughout every
character
movie
backwards.
we saw her in.
Move the character. The character's personality. They moved Muri's personality backwards in
Right.
order to make her show.
Well, we never talked about her personality before. She
made all
was in
kinds of
danger.
comments in Wakanda Forever. I went back and rewatched it.
Oh, okay. I didn't do that.
I went back and rewatched it today.
You a strong one.
Yeah. I went back and rewatched it.
You a strong one.
This is what I did. This is what I did. Not only did I go back and rewatch it,
is wild.
I went back and read the
Wakanda
script
Forever
with
is
her
all
lines.
about grief. It's all about grief, and it's so watching. It's like watching the cast and crew deal with their grief about losing.
They had
Chadwick.
to, right?
So it's
Absolutely.
really hard. I mean, it stands, but it's hard for me to rewatch it because the sadness that they're going through is palpable. But in terms of like us getting a second season for this, I don't think they anticipate a second season. I'm thinking that either Riri is done or we're gonna see her again in another movie because we still where's America Chavez? We ain't seen her. You know what I'm saying? Like
she's at
who
the
knows?
temple.
Hold on. Here's a couple things. So I saw a article from what's her name, Chinaka Hodge, who directed. Yes,
showrunner.
And they said that they would, love to continue this in season 2 and season 3. And I was like, ooh, they are delusional.
That ain't happening. That's not happening.
I was like, wow. They are out there. Now they said, here's a couple of ways that this moves forward, and it would make more sense for this to wrap up in its own season instead of being a side note in some other series. They said one would be, of course, Black Panther 3. They said 2 would be in the larger scheme of things, maybe even Midnight Suns, now that we've introduced some magic into the mix.
That would be awesome. Please,
and three was I don't understand. 3 was one of the ways that they were going to move this forward, but since Marvel kind of restructured some things, it was a show that got scrapped. I don't know if it's going to come back. They were going to do a show called Strange Academy, where had Doctor Strange set up an academy teaching people magic, which would have America Chavez, would have Zelma from the shop, because in the comics, Zelma is actually an apprentice of Doctor Strange.
Is she?
Yes, in the comics, Zelma is one of his apprentices.
In Riri's or in Strange?
So guys, listen to this. She went from having her own show to now being a side character to finish out her arc. Is this what we're really saying?
And the other way is to bring back Riri as part of the new cast of Young Avengers, with your Kate Bishop and some of those,
Are they still doing that? Because I mean,
allegedly, who knows what Marvel's doing these days? Like,
so,
they
made the show so bad now she got to be a side
17
character.
shit,
What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
She was never going to be a star in character. Like anybody thought she was doing.
She's got her own show, so now we're talking about finishing her arc at a sidebar in another series.
So does Moon Knight.
She-Hulk had
to be the star of the show.
Yeah, he might be
too.
Midnight Suns.
There's a lot of shows like.
And every show y'all just named is trash.
That's what I'm saying. Marvel is trash.
They took a pretty good show in Miss Marvel and stuck her in the Marvels, and that crashed and burned.
No, the Marvels was good. It just
I thought it was good. However,
people just didn't go see
it.
Box office wise, it's
Ms. Marvel. I really liked Ms. Marvel.
Most of these TV spinoffs, none of those are going to be holding the torch.
They're done.
They're not cinematic leads. They're TV leads. There's a difference.
Yeah, they're done. They're done.
Who's the only one that spun out and got something? Falcon?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, and Winter Soldier.
Technically,
Wanda
played the villain. She played the villain in Doctor Strange.
Okay. Yeah.
But
they're actually bringing that back.
Those are characters from the cinematic
Daredevil
universe.
is arguably one of the greatest TV Marvel shows.
He's not
period.
in the cinematic
Daredevil,
universe
arguably.
yet.
You think he's gonna lead in a cinematic movie? No.
Nope. No,
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
I thought you all
That's
were
not
saying
happening.
TV shows, but
no.
it's all
What's gonna
good.
What's gonna go into the cinematic universe? I don't think any of these characters are. They'll all be
No, but I mean,
side characters in the
we're
cinematic
I mean,
universe.
but let me shade. You all, including people in the chat, were you expecting any of these TV shows to be leads in the cinematic verse? Because I don't want to just assume, but I just
Loki.
I don't think any of them are going to be leads. However, I do think that some of them, like your Kate Bishop, who came out of Hawkeye, will end up in some cinematic movies. Miss Marvel
I thought
ended
Miss
up in a
yeah.
cinematic movie, so I think some of
yeah, but
them
I'm talking
will
about
end up there.
leads. I'm saying
Oh
like
no,
they are the tent pole of that. No,
Mm-mm.
No.
No.
absolutely not.
I mean, the
Mm-mm.
only one who has, I think, established themselves as potentially having a cinematic lead worthy is Kate Bishop, just because her connection to Yelena, like they had that they had strong chemistry, as well as Ms. Marvel. And given the fact that what's his name, Clint Barton, Jeremy Renner was like, they're not trying to they're not trying to pay me to come
Yeah.
back.
He's not coming
So
back. Yeah.
I don't
straight up, they
know.
was like, man, you
Yeah, they
ain't-
tried to
you
cut
ain't
him.
leading
Yeah, they
none
tried
of
to cut
this.
his salary in half.
Yeah.
He was
I
like
was
half.
surprised that he was shocked. I'm like, but you were never destined to be that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good comments. Like Mark is having some great things to say. Thanks. I just want to thank everybody in the chat for all of your comments, and we agreeing with us, and we agree with you. Tom Rogers said they did Riri wrong in this with the trauma, trauma porn. He didn't like how silly they made her with the horrible decisions, and that streaming has become like the Marvel kitty table.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually
That's
Yeah.
I
good.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So is it
Absolutely.
over with? Are we saying the streaming is over with?
No.
No.
No,
Or should
no,
it
it's way
be?
too much money?
Because we've never seen what's a good show from Marvel?
WandaVision.
Yeah,
Wanda
well,
Wanda,
Vision.
that was the first one.
Ms.
And the yeah.
Marvels?
Ms. Marvel, Loki,
Ms. Marvel.
Loki season 2.
Loki.
Loki.
Yeah. Loki.
Loki
Yeah.
season 2, not season 1.
oh, I like the first
I
two,
didn't
but
I
That
like
was just
season
okay.
1, but I thought season 2 was
actually,
better.
wait, sorry, not two, sorry, I'm getting them confused. No, I like the first season. I didn't like the second season of Loki. Yeah,
I thought we
Oh.
had two. I thought Miss Marvel and I thought WandaVision. The rest of them have been like mediocre to dare I say even trash.
they're like White Castle.
Man,
The
they
whole-
already had the White Vision show.
Right.
I
The whole
thought Loki was
Not
good.
White Castle.
I
Not
mean,
White Castle.
They went to White
Another
Castle.
trope.
Yeah.
Another trope.
Another trope.
Another trope.
Yeah.
that's not even a trope. It's not even a real thing. Nobody goes to White Castles and hangs out and eats.
Except for Ironheart.
Yes, they do.
Ironheart,
Who?
they do.
Who
They
actually
did.
goes into the store?
I don't know
like,
anybody
White
who
Castle
goes
in
into
Frisco?
White Castle.
Why would you ever go in the store?
I'm
Exactly.
not
Right
saying
through.
me.
Yeah.
I've seen people in there.
I've never
Sound like
seen
Randy,
anybody.
Rikai.
Wait,
Randy tried
wait.
to sell me on that too.
Wait.
No,
I'm
I said I've
don't
seen
nobody else
people.
going to White Castle.
I said I've seen people go there and eat. I've never seen people go in and just hang out at White Castle and kick
I
it.
think that's
Listen,
the funniest
I've-
thing that you and Centilla are saying is that not that they're eating White Castle, but that they go in.
Right,
and eat
nobody.
and have conversation.
Nobody.
I think that's the funniest thing. I've
No.
never even had White
Hey,
Castle.
hey,
I've
now-
heard of it,
now,
obviously.
Hey, I have
here's-
never
Never
seen
had
any
it, and I'm
adults
from the
go to White
Midwest.
Castle.
I've only had crystals, and
Well,
I thought I
I
had
mean,
heart. for
Riri's
what I
what,
had.
like 19. So here, I've seen plenty of people. Saying you catch it on a weekend when the club is closed and all them
Yeah,
drunk
it's the
people.
Man, look at all
I've
those
seen-
conditions
yeah,
you
I've
set.
met
Look at all the
Waffle
conditions you set.
House,
I've seen-
Perkins, IHOP. Never went to White Castle after the club.
Thank you.
Hold on,
Waffle
hold on.
House,
Yeah.
IHOP.
But they
Hold on,
weren't.
but
She didn't go
plenty
to the
of- but
club.
the-
She
I've
plenty
was
of-
having a
Crystals after the
magic
club.
They should have
session.
went to Waffle House.
You
Yeah.
went inside and just hung
You know
out
what they
at
should have
Waffle
done?
House?
They should have took it to the churches. They should have had them in churches.
No, you
Yeah.
know good.
Then had
you know
the choir
good.
singing behind there.
You know good
Popeyes
well that
chicken.
whatever
Popeyes, that would've been cool.
whatever neighborhood
I'd have been
Riri
okay with
live in,
Popeyes.
Yeah, I'll be okay with Popeye.
whatever neighborhood that she live in, good and damn well ain't no IHOP, Perkins, or probably even a Waffle House in her neighborhood. There's a
Waffle
White
House is in
Castle,
every neighborhood. What are you talking
No,
about?
no, it's
the
not.
most violent place on earth. It's in every hood. That's where
And
they
they-
go. They
Tekken,
literally tried to
Tekken
put it in the
literally
street.
made a map in the game. so you
Exactly.
can fight.
Every
Taking
hood
yeah,
was a
that's
Waffle
taking to make a
House.
map. Waffle
Wait,
House.
Yeah.
wait,
No, right
Tom
now
said that y'all
there's
naming all the places that a fight is guaranteed to break out.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Waffle
yeah.
House.
Fun,
Uh,
IHOP.
all I
Wait,
can say
Mark,
is
Mark said Waffle House is for settling differences.
It is.
that's where the
That's
fight
awesome.
should have went
That's
down.
awesome.
One there. I'm like, yeah,
I-
they got
I
a
think
they got
that
a
scene
Waffle
was-
House.
That scene would have
Brilliant.
been that scene would have been fire if they had if Harold and Kumar would have been sitting in there. Here's the thing.
That'd have been it.
Yeah, that would have been great.
That'd have been it.
Here, we need to move off this, and I don't know if any of us are going to agree or we're going to agree to disagree on
Catherine,
whatever.
did you finish?
Huh? Yeah, I
Did
just
you
finished it. I just
Okay,
finished
do you
the
have
rest
a
of the
rating?
What is your
Uh,
raw thoughts, Catherine?
I actually had very low expectations going in. Like I was not excited for it, which sounds really bad as a
No, it
It's
really
okay.
doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So it was actually better than I thought, but the ending was just like I'm like, oh, that's dumb. I don't like how it ended. And I also don't like how they introduced the character. I'm like, this feels like off-brand version of what this character was.
All brand.
It's White Castle.
It's not even Rallies.
It's not even a real burger.
It's not even
Yeah,
Said
Rallies.
rallies. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Rallies
so-
or checkers. It's not even Sonic.
But Rallies is not. I mean, White
Sonic.
Castle's
It's
not
great
even
value.
real burger meat. It's like, you know what I'm saying, perforated squirrel meat. That's not
And they
real.
were
like-
hanging out. Yeah, and they were hanging out like that's just what
Yeah.
they do. I don't know anybody that does that.
Yeah.
Boy,
So,
White Castle
like,
paid a lot of money to get that place.
I don't know anybody with
Yes,
good
they
sense that
did.
does it.
They
I don't know
broke-
anybody
they
with
broke
good sense
bread.
that does it.
Well, before you pop us back on Rakai, before we wrap it up,
Mhm.
I would like to say that I thought that they were reaching with Parker and his whole like spoiled tantrum having self that my
Yeah.
daddy kicked me out at 12 and now I'm mad and I want to take all his money. Like that was not listen.
Another black trope. You know,
Yeah.
black men
Sounds
don't
like
take
Well,
a black
it's
father
actually-
son trope to me.
But it's actually
Black
not. That's a
father, son
white
trope.
father son
Right.
trope.
I'm
That the
waiting for
white son goes and like
and
goes
Rakai and
gets-
Centel to kick their son
Yeah.
out.
Right.
Like a black
They can
kid
come
would have
back
gone and made
later
his
and say, I
own
stole
business.
your empire.
I'm not gonna lie. I
It's-
laughed at that.
We
villain.
all
Just-
saw Empire. We all saw Empire.
Did
We
we?
all saw Empire. Lucius Lyons
I
over
quit
here.
watching it.
Yeah.
When they had Cookie in the cage dressed as a
Man.
gorilla,
No,
I quit.
that's what broke me. That was
What?
the best moment. When
What?
they had a stage where people were dressed up in prison jumpsuits and they lowered somebody from the stage. What they
Cookie.
had like a gorilla costume?
In
or
a
something
gorilla
like that?
costume in a
In
cage,
a
and it
gorilla
was
costume
Cookie.
in a
She
cage.
took-
And that was it.
and
I
that
turned
was
it
when I
off
quit.
at that moment.
I was done.
And I was
I was
like,
like,
I'm good.
I can't.
Who wrote this?
I
Tyler
don't
Perry?
know anything
Turn this
about
shit off.
Empire
I
after
am
that.
Good.
I wrapped
I'm
it
sorry
up.
I derailed us. But that's
Sorry.
what it is. We saw
Sorry.
it.
Talk
We
about
saw
trauma.
Empire.
We just got a whole bunch
Look
of
and see.
trauma. Real.
Yeah.
Y'all know
have
why I feel
trauma.
the way
I
I
have real
feel.
trauma around
They
that.
just
I
playing
still
in our
offended.
faces over and over again.
Done.
It's like, wow, this is like black exploitation film.
Still offended.
We didn't produce these things. We might have been in the
Did they
writing
Tyler?
room.
Did they Tyler Perry it up? Is that what happened?
I think it was always intended
Empire
to be
was
that.
always there. It
Me
was
too.
already
Oh,
there.
okay.
It started out that
Empire.
way.
Yeah, it was Lee
Tune in his
Daniels.
show.
It started out that
The
way.
stepping his fetching his show.
Yeah,
you
I
ever
was
seen.
done on this first scene. It was like, hold on, Barack, I got something to do. And he put Barack Obama on hold to take
What?
another call. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
as
was
president.
done with it then.
Wait,
I was
okay,
done there.
we real far now. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's
okay,
go.
sorry.
okay.
I'm
Let's
sorry.
wrap this
I-
thing up.
Let's bring it. Let's
This,
bring it
this
back.
was
Yeah.
they didn't
All right,
give it
so-
to us. This is my issue. They didn't give us Captain America with Anthony Mackie. They didn't give us the glory that he deserved. Like they didn't let him prosper as Captain America. And here they didn't let her grow as Ironheart, where she could have actually made herself completely different from Iron Man. Like I modeled myself after wanting to be that character, and she never got there.
No.
Can I say one good thing that I did like about Ironheart?
What's that?
Yeah,
That's super badass.
we need some of that.
No, the one good thing that in the comic books, Tony Stark was her AI. That was who she created. So I did appreciate that because I was wondering, like, how are you gonna do this? Because she has to have an AI that is like her Friday, like his Friday, right? And so the fact that she was able to create an AI version of her best friend to connect to have somebody to play off of. I did enjoy that, and I did enjoy Natalie Lyric Ross's
Ross.
performance.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a very clever way to do it, and to keep us connected to her, and to bring out, like, you know, the I guess not the excuse, but to share with us Riri's journey and the story that she wanted to go on with that character. Do I kind of wish it was Gary? Because Gary was an engineer? Yeah. But I understand. And, you know, and Natalie did a good job. But that's all I was going to say. Her car was a transformer, though. Her suit, did anybody else think that?
They ruined that.
I was like, they're trying to make up for killing Jazz in the beginning of the
That's what I said. They ruined that good car.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
whatever.
like we
I
really
like
tear
that
that up.
though.
Yeah.
That's like Tony Stark, right? Tony Stark.
It is.
Yeah, I like that. And her suit came out better. And then they infused it with magic, and I like that too.
Here's what I was gonna say to kind of push us towards the ending of this. Which, Courtney, thank you for the perfect segue. Standout performances. You already grabbed my one, Lyric Ross as Natalie. I think she was top notch. She was top tier, and I think it's unfortunate that the writing stole this from Dominique Thorne, because Lyric Ross stole every scene damn near that she was in on the screen. But my other one wasn't on much, but damn it, he showed up and delivered. And maybe it's because he's so different from every other time I've ever seen him in my entire life. That damn Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto. Listen.
Let's do that.
Little
Spoiler.
Little bit.
Oh yeah, it's a big spoiler. You're gonna see it everywhere. You're gonna see it everywhere.
At this point. And we're not trying to, because it's not like it said anything that he did or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if you have to be under a rock to not know that he showed up as this character, like, so he's in this show. That's who he is.
Yeah. Well,
but damn, you was gonna say that. I was a whole bunch of other stuff I said. That was
I know. I was trying to avoid too. I was trying to avoid too. But you know, here we go. It's cool. It's cool.
I didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing he did. I didn't say how he. You know what I'm saying? Anything. All I'm saying is, I feel at this point.
That's what I meant by great value version. I actually thought he was going to be much cooler, but I don't know.
And I think that his reveal, I think who they thought he was and how the whole thing played out. When he was, the one thing I loved about his particular character, they didn't have to go all Secret Invasion with us and give us all this CGI and all this stuff to make him believable. He was menacing. He was cool. He wasn't Borat or Ali G or, so he was fantastic.
I thought he was off-brand Lucifer. Like, he reminded me of the actor as Lucifer, but they couldn't get him, so they got
Tom Ellis.
Yeah. So they got this guy, and I'm like, oh, okay. But
just said off-brand Lucifer.
But yeah, I agree with Courtney on the AI character. That's actually what I kept on watching it for. It's an interesting conversation piece, also, just with where technology's going and all that stuff. So yeah,
you know who I'm going to give it to? Great performances to Landon.
The little boy.
The little boy.
Because I've never heard somebody that age shuck and jive so well. It was like he's straight out of the 70s movies, blaxploitation movies.
Hey, Foxy Mama, I see you in that suit.
I was so waiting for that.
You
I was
fell
like,
down. Get yourself up.
He was very cute.
I just like
shucking and jiving.
I just like the last time.
Sands down.
Listen, that little boy got money for college.
Inflation is dynamite. I couldn't stand that thing.
The last time he helped out, he said, "Hey, you owe me $600."
Harper Anthony killed
me my money.
I'll say this: the person that I wouldn't mind seeing a spinoff of is we didn't get enough of her. I liked Zelma.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was kind of just interesting. And in the shadows of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, because Scott, rest in peace. I feel like that would be a cool little spinoff to kind of like fit in that void, especially when it comes to Black Girl Magic. Literally Black Girl Magic. I would like that, so that's my little, I guess, best in show.
She did a good job. The acting was solid.
We didn't get a lot of her, but always for me, Cree Summers. Anytime she shows up, you know.
I was just gonna say that,
Cree
Randy.
always
I was
is.
gonna say if we see something more with Zelma, which again she was rumored to be part of that Strange Academy, but I don't think they're doing that show anymore. I would want to see Madeline. I would want to see Cree Summer in it. Even if Cree Summer started her studies back up now, so
somebody.
And I don't care what project she's in, Cree Summer's gonna have that hat.
Yeah,
I've seen like 5 different things she's been in, and she got that same
BlurCon,
she had
the hat at BlurCon.
She had that BlurCon too.
Yeah, and she was
Abbott
so
Elementary.
dope, so cool. Her energy is just so cool.
She can call Tyrone. Her and
I wonder if
Erica
she's
Badu.
balding.
I just remember her iconic voice from like Rugrats and all the voice acting.
Everything.
From everything. Her credits. Her credits are
Yeah.
Somebody I thought did a good job was Manny Montana, Cousin John.
Oh yeah,
I thought
John.
Cousin John did really good.
It's Cousin John.
The one
The hood's cousin.
His cousin.
Oh
His
yeah,
brother.
he's always
His
the
brother.
villain. I remember him from Good Girls.
He's
like,
great as villains.
He's always
I even thought what's his name did good too.
Alden.
Anthony Ramos.
Ramos. And
Yeah.
Anthony Ramos. Yeah.
And that Count Dracula.
Exactly.
You
I'm
mean
like,
Count
he was
Chocula?
so low budget for me.
That
Count
joint
Chocula.
was all.
He was so low budget. I'm sorry. I couldn't get behind him.
I thought he did a good job.
Like
he was like a happy guy, like
his acting was good, but that damn cape just
the cape was horrible.
Yeah,
it looked too much like Strange's cape.
Count
like
Chocula.
a poor dusty
Great.
vampire pimp.
Hey, Sacha
Party
Baron
City.
Cohen said that cape is for you, pimp. Pimp.
Well, he said he looked
I don't know.
Landon was gonna get it next.
Yeah.
Landon's gonna get it next. He's gonna come out there with Huggy Bear.
Listen, did anybody else think when they shaved Joe's head that he was giving Winter Soldier vibes?
He was.
Mm-hmm.
He was giving Winter Soldier vibes, and if I close my eyes, he legit sounded like Sebastian Stan. I'm like, did nobody think about this? Like,
I don't know. At the end of the day,
Hold on.
I have a hard time dealing with that dude. At the end of the day, he still did the solo Star Wars movie. I can't even forgive him for that shit.
Wow.
You know what I had? The issue I had more over than the tropes. And this is to me was how you gonna get this piece of cape, throw acid on it, blow it up, electrocute it, freeze it, torch it, but a pair of scissors is the thing that can undo it. That was the thing that bothered me more than anything else. Like you can just simply cut it, but
laser
if
scissors.
you drop the nuclear device
Laser?
on this thing,
yeah,
it
she
can
did
survive.
blow it up.
That was the one thing that bothered
how
me more
did
than
she-
anything.
She
that's
gave
a
the
good
cape
point. How
Ebola,
did
everything.
she cut it? How did she cut it?
Another
She
pet,
has
Laser.
laser scissors.
another pet peeve I had was that all those people who got hit by objects should have been dead. Like the characters in this show are indestructible.
Hey, all I know is Riri with no armor on can beat up a whole gang of people that kill security guards everywhere.
Yeah.
She had the power of White
that
Castle.
Dora
You're
Milaje.
forgetting. She had the power of White Castle. There's
but the
something to them little squirrel burgers.
Hold on.
You can do anything.
Centel may have said the thing that may have made it right. Thank you, Centel. I needed that.
Wait,
Dora
what?
Milaje might have trained her, and so in the 6 weeks she was in Wakanda, that probably made her badass. I'll take that back. I take that back.
I accept that.
I
believe
accept that. I will accept that. I will accept that.
I'm with
Well,
it.
but people getting fall damage and like trucks flipping over and getting no scars of any kind. I don't know. It's just like I feel like everybody on that team had like some sort of invisible armor where they should have just been dead.
Yeah.
Well, if that
Well,
bothers you, don't watch Hot Girl. Don't do it. I mean, Hawkeye. Don't watch the Hawkeye series.
I did watch Hawk.
Yeah,
I watched
'cause it's
Yeah.
all impossible acts, like the entire show.
Well,
Well, I mean, we are watching
is Marvel.
superhero stuff.
let's never bring up Hawkeye again. That was a tough show.
It was rough.
I'm talking about for BingeWorthy. It's a tough
Okay.
show.
Okay.
What?
It's like talking about Echo.
No, it was so we got about a minute into it, and It was Courtney and Centel against me and Chuck, and we just argued that whole show about who liked it and who didn't like it. It was like tag team WWE. It was like, I got this one. I was like, I got this one. And we didn't talk about the show all. We just argued for about an hour, and then Rodney just cut it off. It was a bad.
See,
y'all go back and look at it. It was
Rodney
that's-
wants to
that right
cut
there.
the show off too.
Y'all heard that?
He's
Go
like,
back.
it's 9, and it was 20 minutes ago.
Go back and look at the go back in the videos and watch that show. You heard him.
it's
Go back and watch
bad.
the show. Matter
It's
of fact, I'm gonna go
good.
back
It's
and watch the
amazing
show.
show.
I'm gonna go back and watch
The
it.
worst
in a couple
show
minutes.
we've ever had. It was great.
All right. I don't know. I think we have beat this unfortunate horse into a donkey. I don't even know if it started out as a horse. It's probably always was a burro. Oof. Let's rewrite it. Let's rewrite it. I'm gonna start with our newest entrant. You know, even though you dropped in a little bit late.
Yeah, sorry. I like
you-
benched it. I'm like, I'm almost done. I just finished.
That's all right.
the
That's all right. You
halfway.
you got it done. You got here, and we
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hearing, I know you were in the chat, hearing some of that, and being in the chat and being with us now. How would you re-rate the show?
So funnily, I thought I was going to go in and thinking it was a cringeworthy because I just had very low expectations. So I actually was entertained through most part except for the ending. I was like, oh, this is bad. I'll rate it a mini meal.
Okay, so
Mhm.
3. All right.
Mini.
So Chuck, you're still at a mini?
No, I'm going binge out. Full binge out.
Boy, if you don't stop.
I'm going full binge
If-
out.
He
Y'all
about to
make me
get us
appreciate-
kicked off in the
I'm
internet.
I'm going at the full meal now because I'm going to support Black Love.
What?
Would you re-rate this thing and
I
come
am
on?
dead serious.
All right.
Black love where?
Trauma. We love trauma.
Boy,
If I have a child, I'm gonna name him Trauma.
I can't with you. Centel,
Did you really bring it up to a full meal?
I'm not
Yes.
I'm not
Okay.
listening to him.
Yeah.
All right, Centel. Jesus, man.
It's still a mini meal. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. Up until the season finale. And if you just want to just have a really good time, I don't think you're gonna go wrong with it. So counter to what other folks in popular belief is, I think it's worth your time. And not only did I enjoy it, I would recommend it. But it's still a mini meal. Because
How
that-
can
that-
you recommend it but not go up?
I do. I mean, because the ending is awful.
Yeah.
He's recommending mid. He's not saying get a great meal, but you know what I'm saying? You
I
hungry,
support you with that, Centel.
you got nothing
with my
better to
Black
eat.
Love.
boy.
It's better. It's better than most of the other Marvel TV shows you'll see. So
Okay, that I can't disagree with.
That's not wrong.
That's not. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not. Miss Courtney Scott, right?
There was one line in the show that I forgot that I wanted to mention that I thought was stupidly funny. Not because it was good, but I just thought it was dumb. When she said she got that skin patch from him, was like, "Do you have this in Cocoa Surprise?"
Oh yeah.
I remember that. It's like she out here looking for her Fenty colors.
like she got the little pantyhose slip on her hand trying to match it to her skin tone. And I thought that was really funny. But I
Full
can't.
meal,
Here's the
baby.
thing. The acting is really strong. And I do think, to the point that it's better than a lot of the other Marvel film shows that have been out there. I mean, I do want to support it. And I'm going to go up to a full meal only because the ending was trash and I need them to fix this.
Yeah.
So if we can have a season 2, I need you to justify and correct the mistake that you made. So I will go up to a full meal in the hopes that, it does get another opportunity to go do something different.
High
Maybe
five, Courtney.
Listen,
see
I
you.
promise.
I see you.
I promise I want to go with y'all just to support the show, but I can't do it. My spirit won't let me do it. I'm gonna stay at a mid meal because it's mid. I didn't like the first 3 episodes. All these tropes and things you guys are talking about was there and it was triggering. I did like the back
Talking
half of
about
the
Jive
show.
Turkey.
I did like the back half of the show. I loved episode 4. I liked 5 and 6. I don't hate the finale, the end. I don't agree with it. It seemed dumb as hell. But if they had a point for doing it for a different reason, I'm like, okay. I just think it's a stretch. So it's still mid to me. And Mr. Randolph.
I'll do it for the culture. I'll go for the culture. Just for the culture. Just for the culture. Because I don't want to go down and I don't want to add to the cacophony that's out there. So I'll go into a mini meal for the culture. Just for the culture.
All right. So that took us to a 20. Divided by the 6 of us was a 17.5.
Did you put my
I put your 4. I put your 4, and I put Courtney's 4, and that still gave us basically a 2.75, which means it equals out to a mini meal.
Dang it.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that.
Can I move it up to a BingeWorthy?
It's mid.
Give it a solid 3.
Like again, it's better than I thought it was. Like I really thought I was gonna hate this a lot. I think it's just the the great value ending.
Now let's rank Marvel. I'm gonna rank Marvel.
No, we don't have enough time for that.
All right.
Lord.
So I do want to thank everyone for showing up for us again this week. We are, if you just tuned in, if you weren't listening to our wonderful discussion going back and forth, Ironheart, Geekish Network's BingeWorthy is recommending this wonderfully mini meal of a show. We came in at a solid average. I
don't know about recommending it, but it's for the culture. I'll give it a mini meal.
Yes, let's recommend it so they can fix this in season 2.
3.
They
it's
fixed
average.
Loki.
So it's average. So we're saying if you got something better to do that. But if not, you put it on the background. I say start at episode 4, but it is what it is. So it's better than a lot of other stuff that Marvel's put out, and it's almost like recommending a DC project. The bar is not that high. So
oh man,
oh my god, hilarious.
And anyway, we absolutely love and appreciate everyone who showed up in the chat to listen to us debate and discuss, and everyone who added their comments in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you for continuing to tune in to BingeWorthy on the Geekish Network. Please make sure that you continue to support us, continue to come by Geek Beast and all the other wonderful shows that we have on this network. Thank you to our technical producer, Mr. Rodney Cajuto, the best in the land. Thank you to Digital Click, who provides all of our wonderful marketing and digital needs. If you have some of those your own, make sure that you reach out to them. We will be back next time at our regularly scheduled time, Wednesday. Not sure we're watching yet, but there's so much great stuff coming in now that I'm sure it'll be something that you'll love. So make sure that you tune in to our socials so that you can see what we're going to be getting into next week. And with that said, we're out of here. Peace.
Bye from Memphis.
Geek out and good night.
Yeah.
That's right. Memphis barbecue.
Memphis.